good lunch and we are ready to work on some content areas for math. Today we're going to talk about getting your kids ready for addition and subtraction, because I know that's what you guys are getting ready to begin in your classroom. So I know that last spring we talked about subitizing, so we're going to revisit that and some other number sense strategies that are going to help prepare your kids to be ready when you start your addition and subtraction. So can you tell me, what does subitizing mean? What is subitizing?
Breaking apart numbers. Seeing the number dots and knowing what it is right away.
Exactly. It's that instant recognition of a collection of objects. It means that they can look at it and they can see it and they don't have to stop and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have to, they just look at it. If you come and drop something in front of them, 6 counters in front of them, they can look at it and say that's 6. They don't have to stop and count it. It's that instant recognition, that instant understanding of what a collection of objects is. So we're going to work on some activities today to help develop, because we know from being in your classrooms that they really have not gotten that in kindergarten. So that is something we're going to really need to work on and build before we begin working on that addition and subtraction. So we're going to start with some dot cards, and we're going to start with something that we like to call math hands. So every child has a set of math tools that they carry with them everywhere they go, and it is their math hands. So I'm going to ask you to be my first graders right now, and we're going to do some math hands, okay? So the first thing I would like for you to do is just to show me with your fingers how many dots you see on the card. Don't say anything, just show me what you see, and then when I say tell me, I want you to tell me how many dots you see on the card. Ready? How many?
1, 1.
How many?
4, 4.
And that's where we're going to begin. We are going to begin very simply with just 1, 2, 3, 4 dots on the card, and just work consistently with these until we feel that our children really are understanding and they're not having to stop and count 1, 2, 3 and go 3. Okay, now from being in your classroom this morning, your kids have a pretty good understanding, and they can already show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you are ready in your class, and some of the rest of you may be as well, to move on to some larger numbers. Okay? Then once they become comfortable with the larger numbers, then you want to begin to have them show this in different ways, because most of your kids, when you say, show me, and you show them a dot card with 5, what are they going to do? 5. They're going to do 5 with one hand. Okay? But then we also want them to be able to show that there are other parts to 5 besides 5. So then we're going to begin working on that conceptual subitizing, where they see the parts of the number and not just the number as a whole. Okay? So what I want you to do now is show me 5. Okay? Now, can you show me 5 another way? Good. Okay? My friend over here has shown me 3 and 2. But my friend over here has shown me 1 and 4. They're not the same, but they're both 5. Very good. All right. So then, once you get to the larger numbers and once you get to 5, then your conversation is going to be, show me what you see. How many dots? Show me. Okay. Tell me, what do you see?
5.
Okay. Can you show me 5 another way? Good. Can you show me 5 another way? Good. Okay. Show me. Tell me, what do you see? 2. Show me 2 another way. Good. Show me. Tell me, what do you see?
4.
Good. Can you show me 4 another way? Good. What do you see? Tell me. 1. Now, there's really not parts to 1. 1 is one object, so you can't really break that one into parts.
Talk there about it's 1 and 0 or 0 and 0. Or not?
Not at this point, I don't think. I think I would hold that off for just a little bit, but when they're just really beginning to understand it, it's just 1. And you just kind of skip the question, show me another way. Because the only thing they're going to do is this, or they might hold up another finger instead. All right? Yeah. So, comfortable with showing, because even as adults, you're not real comfortable with show me another way, show me another way. But once they can show you that this is 5 and this is 5 and this is 5, and they don't have to stop and look at their fingers and count it, then they're really beginning to get that understanding of what it means to be 5. Now once they get there, what you want them to do is we're going to do something called math ears. And we're going to bring our hands up here, and we're going to do the same thing, only their hands are going to be up here. So that if they can do this up here, if I show them the card 5, and they can go, you know, they can go, this is 5, and this is 5, and this is 5, without having to bring their hands down and continually look and count at their hands, then you really know that they have that understanding of what 5 means. Okay? Once they are really good with the dots, then we're going to bring in the more traditional, what they're used to seeing in the 10 frame. Okay? So it's going to be the same kind of questioning. Show me what you see. Tell me.
6.
Show me 6 another way. Good. How did you show me 6?
3 and 3.
Good. Show me 6 another way. Good. How did you show me 6?
4 and 2.
Good. Show me 6 another way. Good. How did you show me 6?
5 and 1.
Excellent. So it's the same thing, just a different frame of reference. And then this morning we talked about looking at some other non-traditional arrangements. We also want to begin using some of those non-traditional arrangements so that they can see that 5 does not always look like this. Okay? 5 can look like 5 dots in a line. 5 can look like 3 dots and 2 dots. So some more non-traditional arrangements, like some of those that we talked about this morning with our number talks. Okay? Now, once they begin being able to show you this, they're really beginning to understand the parts that make up the numbers. So then you may want to begin incorporating a story. So you may begin to do the story of 7. So my story of 7 begins with 3 and 4 are 7. Who would like to add something to my story of 7?
2 and 5 or 7.
2 and 5 are 7. Then, once you begin to incorporate your addition, then you can add in other facts about 7, that 3 plus 4 equals 7, and 2 plus 5 equals 7. And then possibly in the upper grades we do a target number of the day, and they put that up and they just tell everything they know about the number 24. 24 is 2 dozen. My birthday is on the 24th of September. Just anything they know about that number. So once they get used to the parts and wholes, then they can begin to tell other facts about that number. One of the things about getting ready for addition is they really got to understand this part-whole relationship. Okay? We want them to see that not just 2 plus 4 equals 6. We want them to really understand what it means to be 2 and what it means to be 4, and then when we put them together, they get 6, because what happens too often is we just continually teach basic facts, basic facts, basic facts, and they'll learn them and they'll memorize them, but they really don't understand what this means. So we really want to begin working on that part-whole relationship. Okay? So I'm going to give you some counters. Okay. All right. And I want you to take out, please, 5 counters and show me did you show me 5?
I showed you 5 in a line.
5, what color are your counters?
Red.
5 red counters in a line. How did you show me 5?
5 yellow counters in a line.
Okay, remember when we were doing the math hands, we showed different ways to make 5 with our fingers. Can you show me a different way to make 5 with your counters? Okay? How did you show me 5?
I flipped 1 over, so 1 is yellow, 4 are red.
Okay? So, you did 1 and 4, and those are parts of 5. Okay? How did you show 5?
2 and 3.
You did 2 and 3, and those are parts of 5. How did you show 5?
4 and 1.
4 and 1, and those are parts of 5. And then you would want to continue and try to come up with all the parts of 5 that you can. The thing is that when you're working on these part-whole relationships, you only want to work on one number at a time. You don't want to say, these are the parts of 5, and oh, by the way, 3 and 3 are parts of 6. You want them to really focus on what those parts of 5 are and what it really means to be 5. Okay?
Can you do more than one number, like if we're focusing on 5 today? Can we also focus, like when we're done with 5, we focus on 6? You're not talking about one number a day, are you? Or are you?
You know, in the beginning, you may want to just stick with that one number, and when they really, really understand it, and when you feel like you really understand it, then you can mix it up. But when they're really learning and really initially focusing on those parts of 5, you really just want to stick with 5 for that day.
Do you care if it's in a line or if it's shown
I don't
like
care
all over?
how they arrange them.
And the colors don't matter, like she flipped 1 over, but I kept mine the same, I just pulled
You
one
just
away.
separated them. No,
It
that's
doesn't
fine.
matter.
What I really want the children to see is it's really much easier for them to see the 2 different colors and how many are red and how many are yellow than to see the line. So it's really much easier for them to visualize it that way.
So it is better to,
Yeah.
like that's what you want to look for when you're
Yeah, that's what you want to look for. You want to look to see that they can show you with the different colors. Okay?
And up here with the numbers like 5, 4 and 1 are parts of 5, do you think those should be further apart so they don't see 41?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Then as practice, and we looked at these cards last year, and I know some of you have gotten some of them. These are great for practicing that part-whole relationship. These are number bond cards, and I know that we got some of these last year, and some of you have borrowed mine. So just to refresh your memory, that this continues to work on that part-whole relationship. And these 2 are the parts, and then this 1 would be the whole. So when you're using these cards, the conversation begins, 1 and 4 are the parts, what's the whole? 5. Vocabulary. 6 is the whole, 2 is 1 part, what's the part? 4. Okay. 10 is the whole, 5 is 1 part, what is the other part? And then eventually you'll just begin to be able to hold them up, and then they'll begin to build that mental image of the parts and the wholes in their brains, in their minds. Okay? Then you want to do lots of games and lots of activities to focus on what's the missing part, because that will really help cement into their brains what it means to be part of 5 and what it means to be the whole. Okay? Another tool that we looked at toward the end of last year was the Rec and Rec. So we're going to do and refresh a few activities with the Rec and Recs. Okay? Now, the first activity is called Fast Eyes. And in Fast Eyes, you as the teacher are in charge of the Rec and Rec. So you want them to push all their beads to the right. Push all the beads to the right. You are the teacher are in charge now. So right now I want you to put your Rec and Rec down. Okay? And then I'm going to show some beads. In the beginning, when you're first working with this, you only want them to use just the top row till they get familiar with this and understand it. So I take a card of some type, index card, whatever, piece of paper, and cover the bottom one. So the first couple of activities, you're just using the top row, okay? And what this is getting to them is the relationship between 5 and 10 and how the other numbers are related to 5 and 10, okay? So in the beginning, it's kind of like our math hands activity. You push, how many do you see?
6.
Well, how many do you see?
6.
6. Okay? And then you push again. How many do you see? 7. All right. The first skill that they really need to learn with this Rec and Rec tool is to be able to move things in one push. Okay? So that they don't have to count. If you want them to show 4, they don't have to stop and count. 1, 2, 3, 4. That they can take 4 and push it in one push. So let's practice for a minute. Okay? All right. Push all your beads to the right. Push all your beads to the right. Okay? Would you please, in one push, show me 6? Okay? Push back. Would you please show me 3? One push. Good. Push back. Would you please show me 8? Push back. Good. Good. Push back. All right. So then, once they get the understanding, and you're going to start discussing, and hopefully they'll see the relationship that 7 is 5 and 2, and start building that relationship. Okay? All right. Then the next step is for them to begin using both sides of their reckoner. Okay? Both rolls of their reckoner. So you're going to do the same fast eyes activity again, where you push a few beads, top and bottom. What do you see?
5.
All together. 5. So you saw 3 and 2, and that is 5. Okay? Fast eyes. What do you see?
8.
8. Okay? How do you see 8? 6 and 2 or 8. Okay? The next activity is called Build on 2 Rows. So you would give them a number, and then they would have to build it on both rows. So again, you're working on that part-whole relationship, okay? So if I were to tell you to, I want you to build the number 6, but I want you to build it on 2 rows for me. Would you do that, please? Okay. How did you build 6?
4 or 2.
4 on the top and 2 on the bottom. How did you build 6?
3 and 3.
3 and 3. And how did you build 6?
2 and
2
4.
on the top and
4 on the bottom.
4 on the bottom. All right, let's push back. Okay. Now, would you build the number 12? Okay. How did you build 12?
6 and 6.
6 and 6. How did you build 12?
10 on the top, 2 on the bottom.
10 on the top, 2 on the bottom. How did you build?
Same
Same thing.
thing.
10 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Then once they become comfortable with this, you want to begin recording their combinations on the board. And there's different ways that you can record it. You can actually draw your little Rec and Rec on the board, or just draw your 2 lines and just show the different ways. 6 and 6. And 2. And then begin recording first just with the beads, and then you can begin recording the numbers along with that. Okay? Again, working on that part-whole relationship. Okay? The next one is, and some of your kids may still be struggling with this because I know that the kindergartners are having a hard time with this, is they may still be struggling with attaching the numerical symbol to the count. They can count it and they can tell you 5, but in some cases, some of our kids, especially some of our ESOL kids, if you were to hold this up, they would have a little more difficulty showing you 6 than if you said, show me 6. Okay, so the next step is build the number. So you would show them, rather than telling them, show me 6, you would use a digit card, show me 6. And it's the same kind of thing. You can start with building it on one row and just using one row, and then you can build it on 2 rows and begin recording those combinations. Okay? And then once they get really good at this, when you record the combinations, you can do the same configuration that we were doing with our part-whole relationships, that 12 is 6 and 6. Okay? All right. The next activity with our Rec and Rec is parts of 10, because one of the best strategies that we can teach kids, and we're going to look at in just a few minutes how that strategy fits in with some of the mental math that we were talking about this morning. One of the best strategies that we can give kids when we're teaching them those addition strategies is the strategy of making 10. So if I were to push 5, how many more would I need to make 10? 5. Okay? Then push back. If I were to push 3, how many more would I need to make 10? 7. And then you can begin, again, start with the 1 row and then move on to 2 rows. If I were to push 4 on the top, how many would I need on the bottom to make